Good evening, and welcome to our first panel discussion for the Rockland Sepac, which is a special education parent advisory council. We are here tonight with a group of parents, educators, therapists, and athletic directors and coaches, among others, who are going to discuss and tell you how to get your child involved in after school in activities that you may be looking for. Our first presenter is from the Rockland Youth Commission. She is Jean Blaney.
Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome.
So the Rockland Youth Commission has been around since the 70s. It's an older term. It's supposed to be an outreach program. I feel like we've really geared ourselves right into recreation. Some of the programs that we have are sport programs. We have some art programs, science, technology. We have summer programs. We have a great chipmunk program. It's our preschool program that runs during the day. So there's weekend activities as well as during the day. And then we have some free programming designed for everyone in the community. We have an upcoming candy cane hunt on December 14th. That's going to be our first one, but hopefully an annual if my staff stays with me. It's not too cold. So that'll be a lot of fun. We participate in the holiday stroll. That's coming up. And then we have the Easter egg hunt and a few other recreational activities, Rockland Day, etc. So the best way to reach us, you'll see at the bottom of the screen, is our contact information along with our website. The website has all of the activities that we offer. But if there is something out there that you guys don't see and you want a program, you've got to let me know, because I can't read minds, because, you know, none of us can really. But please tell me, and we'll go ahead and we'll create that program. We are looking into some adaptive programming at the moment, and I'm looking to partner with a group or an organization out of Brockton. But I don't want to release that yet because that's not solidified, but hopefully that'll be some upcoming program. And I know that we have, I've spoken to some parents, particularly the teens. They would like some special nights, but I think what I'm most looking for is for someone to reach out to me to help me lead that charge, if you will. So if any of you or anyone at home really wants to do that, please just go ahead and contact me. The phone number is there. You can reach us by email. Casey and Jared are also in the office. They can take a message, or they can probably talk to you about what we're looking for.
Great.
So, anyone have any questions?
Any questions? No?
What age groups do you start with your after-school program?
So we have from ages 3 up to, I would say the oldest child right now we have in programming is probably 16 years old. We do have a summer program, and we have a teen center program. So our teen center goes up through high school, although it seems like generally after 9th grade, no one attends. And then our middle school program, we do have some kids that are entering into high school, and actually we had a couple sophomores this year. So that was great. Yeah, they go on field trips. They absolutely love it. Yeah, thank you for that question.
Are you open to residents outside of the town of Rockland?
We are. Thank you for asking that. Yep, we have folks from Weymouth, Abington. I've had folks from Quincy, Kingston, and Hanover. Yeah, absolutely. Great.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. And next up, we have Dr. Alan Cron, who is our superintendent of Rockland Public Schools, to tell you a little bit about what's going on in Rockland Public Schools these days.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Alan Cron. I'm the superintendent of the Rockland Public Schools. Thank you, Michelle, for inviting me. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here to discuss the many programs and services offered by the district, from our early intervention programs that start with students as young as 3, to our high school transition program that services the needs of students up to the age of 22. Most importantly, however, I'm excited to be here to hear from you, our parents and students and neighbors, to find out what's working and what is not working. I'm extremely proud of the work of the more than 130 special education professionals who work in the Rockland Public Schools, the work that they do each day, but we can always be better. And we all know every child is different and has different needs, and because of this, we must constantly challenge ourselves to be open to change and to partner with outside organizations and groups such as the ones here tonight. I want to give a few facts about special education programming in the Rockland Public Schools since I have this opportunity. We have a current student population of 2,344 students, of which 418 are supported with special education services. That's 17.8% of our students receiving services versus the state average, which is 17.4%. Of our nearly $29 million annual budget, approximately $8.4 million is spent on special education. That's approximately 29% of our total school budget. Currently, 32 of our 418 special education students attend out-of-district facilities such as collaboratives, private day schools, or residential schools for their instructional needs. Approximately $3.5 million of the $8.4 million spent on special education goes to fund out-of-district students. But in Rockland, we are committed to keeping students in district. We believe it's better for the student and for our community. We meet the individual needs of students by having developed our own specialized, sub-separate programs that are established in each of our 5 buildings. The Rockland Preschool program is currently housed here at Rockland High School, and it provides early intervention for autistic and developmentally delayed students by practicing full inclusion, providing OT and PT services when needed, and offers pull-out services as well as substantially separate programs. Learning experiences and activities for preschoolers, or LEAP as we call it, and striving to experience play and social experiences, or STEPS, are 2 programs where students with special needs learn alongside non-disabled students in full inclusion preschool classrooms. Special education law mandates that students be educated in the least restrictive environment. To this end, the Rockland Public Schools subscribe to 2 models. One is Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, and the second is Response to Intervention, or RTI. UDL is an instructional method that involves creating lessons and classroom materials flexible enough to accommodate different learning styles in the inclusive classroom. RTI is a general education approach intended to provide early identification of students' learning problems paired with the use of focused lessons and intervention. In addition to UDL and RTI, the Rockland Public Schools believe that inclusion is a fundamental best practice for all teachers. This educational model challenges schools to meet the needs of students by educating learners with disabilities alongside their non-disabled peers. An inclusive education helps to prepare students with disabilities for an integrated adult life and builds understanding and acceptance within the broader community. Each of our 5 schools house at least one specialized, substantially separate special education program. Now, these are programs where many towns will choose to send students out of district to private schools for these services. We have these programs within the Rockland Public Schools. The Jefferson School has 2 classrooms identified as primary learning centers, or PLC-1 and PLC-2. PLC-1 and PLC-2 serve grades K to 4 students who have developmental delays, intellectual impairments, and neurological disorders. Services provided include direct instruction in a separate setting or in a general education setting. At the Eston Elementary School, we house 2 substantially separate programs: Elementary Practical Academics and Life Skills, or as we call it, EPAS 1, which serves K to 2 students on the autism spectrum, and EPAS 2, which serves students in grades 2 through 4 on the autism spectrum. At the Memorial Park Elementary School, we have 2 substantially separate programs. We call one the Transitional Learning Center, and it serves students in grades K to 2. These are students with social, emotional, and behavioral challenges, and TLC2, which serves students in grades 2 to 4 with social, emotional challenges. At the Rogers Middle School, we have a Transitional Learning Center, which is designed for students with social, emotional, and behavioral issues. There are 2 TLC classrooms, one for grades 6 and 7, and a second for students in grades 7 and 8. The Rogers also has a program called Practical Academics and Social Support, or more commonly known as our PASS program. It is designed for students with autism and supports their needs with social communication disorders or nonverbal learning disabilities. The focus is academics, behavior, social skills, and inclusive practices. Also housed at the Rogers Middle School is our Practical Academics and Life Skills program, otherwise known as PALS, and it is designed for students with developmental delays, intellectual impairments, and neurological disorders. There is one class for grades 5 and 6 and a second for grades 7 and 8. Finally, at the Rogers, serving grades 5 and 6, we have a literacy enrichment classroom designed for students with specific learning disabilities or deficits with receptive or expressive language. At Rockland High School, our Pathways program supports students in grades 9 through 12. It provides students with academics, independent living skills, and pre-vocational skills. Rockland High School has a second program that is called our Transition Program. It works with students from age 18 to 22, and it supports them with career and college-ready activities and job site opportunities. Finally, at Rockland High School, we have an alternative program, which is really not a special education program, but students who have IEPs often participate. It supports students who have behavioral and social problems. In not so distant past, many of these students would have been suspended indefinitely or expelled for disciplinary reasons. We do everything we can to see them through to graduation. I am particularly proud of the work that goes into this program. I personally would have been an excellent candidate for this program should it have existed in the 1980s when I graduated from high school. And that's not a joke, that's a truth. All Massachusetts school district special education programs are evaluated by the Mass Department of Education every 6 years, followed by a mid-cycle SPED review and follow-up visit 3 years after the coordinated program review. A rubric consisting of 59 criteria elements are used to evaluate district compliance with federal and state regulations which have been formulated to promote student achievement and high standards for all students. Rockland School District participated in a comprehensive special education review in May of 2014. We were found fully compliant in 51 of the 59 rubric elements. We addressed the 8 issues, and during the mid-cycle review in 2016, the Rockland Public Schools were rated exemplary and fully compliant in all 59 special education criterion elements. Rockland School District's next comprehensive coordinated special education review is taking place currently. In addition to academic programs, Rockland High School and Rogers Middle School have a social program called the Bulldog Buddies, in which non-special needs mentors are paired with special needs students to spend time doing social activities, such as attending athletic events, hosting game nights, pizza parties, movie nights, and other fun social activities. Finally, Unified Sports, which is affiliated with the Special Olympics, have become a critically important part of life at Rockland High School. In summary, and I apologize for being so long, the Rockland Public Schools believe in full inclusion for all students, and as you have just heard, we have a comprehensive program in place to meet a wide range of needs. I want to thank Dr. Linda Maniglia, who is our Director of Special Education. She couldn't be here tonight, but she is one of the most highly respected coordinators in the state, and she works very hard each day on behalf of the children of Rockland. We are very lucky to have her and our team of more than 130 educators with whom she works. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from the other members of this panel and to hear your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Cron.
Thank you.
Any questions for Dr. Cron? I just want to publicly state before we go any further to thank you to Dr. Cron, but as parents of special needs children in Rockland, Massachusetts, I'm not sure if you've met Dr. Cron or have had any dealings with him, but he is by far the most open-minded and open heart of a person, especially of a superintendent that I have ever dealt with. And we've had a few of them. They were all wonderful, but Dr. Cron
Thank you.
is the best.
That's very
We've
kind
had
of you.
many meetings, and anything that I have brought to him, he's listened to and never just shut me down right away. He has listened, and we've talked about what was going on, and it's just been a pleasure.
Thank you.
These past
My
year.
pleasure.
Well,
and I
and-
look forward to working with all of you and your groups. Schools partnering with outside groups, it's something we should be doing more and more of. So
Right,
I
yeah.
really I want you to feel free to reach out to me. I'm available.
And I want parents to know that they can reach out to Linda Maniglia, reach out to your special ed teacher, and reach out to Dr. Cron because they're all here for the same purpose as our children.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
My
We really
pleasure.
appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have Amy Enos, and she is a dance teacher at InSync Dance in Quincy, Massachusetts.
Hello.
Hey, Amy.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So my name's Amy. I am here from InSync Center of the Arts in Quincy, Massachusetts. I am the director of the preschool dance program as well as the special needs dance program. We started the special needs dance program 13 years ago and still going strong. So it actually started because we had these kiddos that, everybody deserves a chance to dance. And we try to include all of our kiddos in all of our activities as much as we can. But there does, sometimes come to a point where there is a one-on-one needed, and we just couldn't provide that within the typical dance classes. So we decided to try our hand at a special needs dance class. So my background is early childhood education. I have a lot of experience with all kinds of kids. Started when I was 16 years old. I'm 37, so that's a long time. I actually worked in, we did a work study program at the high school, and that's where it actually all started for me, my love for this. I would leave my class for 2 periods every day, and I would go into the special ed classroom, and it changed my life. It did. Our very first day that we did it, myself and the owner, Terry, we just cried and with joy because we couldn't believe we actually pulled this off. But now it started really small with probably 4 kiddos. Now I actually have I have 3 classes right now going. I have a Friday night class. It's in Quincy. It's 550 Adams Street, and all of the contact information I'll tell you at the end. But Friday night is Friday Night Dance Jam. So that is for teens and young adults to come and just dance. That's what we do. So we do a lot of strengthening, conditioning, socializing, which is huge. And then we do dance routines, and we practice for the end of the year recital. I have a Saturday morning program, Saturday morning at 8:30 in the morning for the littles, ages 3. And I have a few kiddos that have been with me for years and years and refuse to leave the Saturday morning. So my oldest right now is 21, and she absolutely loves it, and she will not go to that Friday night class, and that is fine with me. So, but a lot of these kids, I've had these kids I've watched them grow up literally. That actually particular kiddo started with me when she was 8. So, and now she's 21, so, I can't even describe to you how special this is for me and for these kids, and it's just an amazing thing. And then the third one that we just added is a performance team. So that way, if it's for the kids that like to perform more than the recital. So we go and we do 3 extra performances during the year with all of the competition kids and the performance kids throughout the studio. I direct the program. I have one teacher that is under me that has been working with me since she was a teenager. I've trained her, and now she is able to run her own class if she needs to. And we're able to provide a one-on-one because we have these amazing teenage interns that I take under my wing, and it's almost, we have a wait list for these kids to want to come into this class and help. It's absolutely an amazing thing that happens. Trying not to tear up because it's just that special. But throughout it, we've pulled in an OT that has trained me on how to correctly and appropriately, handle the physical parts of it so that we're not hurting anybody. And I'm also certified in what is called Rhythm Works, and it's an integrative dance program. And it's the certification is under this wonderful woman, but there's an OT and a PT that helps, and it's an actual certification. So I think that's it, right?
Great.
Yeah?
Thank you.
All
Does
right.
anybody have any questions for Amy?
No? Okay.
Amy,
Yes.
Here's a question: is
Yes.
that if my child wanted to sign up, do they have to do it at the beginning of the year, like a typical dance class, or can they do any time during the year?
They do not. So we take enrollment up until January for the whole studio. For the Me Too, it's called the Me Too program. And I take those kids all the way through. all the way through. So we run September through June, and then we do the recital in June. I would say that if it's May, come on in. Let's have you dance with us for the rest of the season. If we feel like we want to go on stage, sure. But just know that we've been working on a routine, so but
Right.
otherwise I take them all the way through. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay?
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mark Kilban from the Weymouth Street Hockey League.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So like Michelle said, my name is Mark Kilban. I'm the Vice President of the Weymouth Street Hockey League, which is a sports program in Weymouth, Massachusetts. We play our games in South Weymouth. And we've had the league going now for 5 years. We are currently in the midst of a registration for our 6th year, which will start in April. And the season goes from the beginning of April and runs till the end of the school year. For the past 5 years, we started off our first year having 300 kids in the league, boys and girls, from kindergarten all the way to 10th grade. We have now bumped that up to 600 kids. All the kids that are currently in the league either have to attend school or live in Weymouth. So either you can go to a private school or a public school, and you're eligible to play in the Weymouth Street Hockey League. Every year, at the end of our board meetings, the end of the year board meetings, we sit down and talk about what we can do better. And we go around the table. And one of the things that came up this year is we need to be more inclusive. What can we do to fix this that happened, week 1? What can we do to fix this happened week 2? But the one thing that came up this year was, what can we do to make this open to more kids? And how can we be more inclusive? I think within 5 minutes, we had a unanimous decision that we're going to start a new division this coming year. The new division is going to be called the Champions Division. It's going to be open to children, boys and girls of any age, with disabilities, special needs, and there will be no charge. It'll be free of charge. It'll be something that, it's going to be new to us. It's going to be a challenge for us, but we're ready for it. The moment that I put it out there on Facebook that we were going to start this new division, I had instant messages like crazy from people I've known for years, for people I've never known. How can I help? How can I help? So right off the bat, I think it's going to be a winner. Our league is not geared upon who wins and who loses. Even with the league we've had going for the last 5 years, it's more about who's playing. Who's getting away from the television? Who's getting away from the video games? Who's playing with their classmate that's six 2 rows over? It's more about that, and at the end of the game, it's more about going in and patting your teammate on the back, or the in the shake hand line at the end of the game, and that's what it's about. It's about being a kid, and this street hockey rink it's beautiful. We actually have 2 of them. The town of Weymouth has been so generous to us. They saw that the league was going so well that we talked about it, and within a year we had a second one. We have real scoreboards to go along with it to make it look nice. We have referees, and nobody has to yell "car" to stop the game. That's the beauty about it. The games last about an hour. The games are played on Fridays. Some games on Friday nights because we only have 2 rinks until the sun comes down, and then the rest are played on Saturdays and Sundays. We are looking forward to this. With the way the league has been run, as I said, you had to live in Weymouth. The Champions Division is not going to be like that. The Champions Division is going to be open to anyone who has special needs, who lives in the surrounding communities, that wants to come out and play. And that's what it's about. Our league, we're a nonprofit, so we're all volunteers. We have sponsors, whether it be local politicians, whether it be the sub shop up the street, whether it be Dairy Queen in Weymouth. They're all supportive of what we've been doing so far, and we've already had people step up, including the mayor, and say, I want to be a part of this Champions Division, and I want to help. So there will be no charge for the Champions Division. Any player that wants to play is more than welcome. So registration is currently going on right now at WeymouthStreetHockey.com. You can go on our Facebook page at Weymouth Street Hockey League. You want to go on that, you have to be approved to get on. You can instant message me with any questions you have. We are a very open board, so if you have questions, that's what we're there for. And we just have fun doing it. We have a great group of people that help out. High school kids come and volunteer. Weymouth High School has been approved by us, or we've been approved by Weymouth High School for kids to come down and volunteer and get their hours that they need in order to, every year they need so many hours to whether attend the prom or what have you to graduate. But those kids have already been lining up already for us as well, asking how can I be a part of this. So we are looking forward to it. The only equipment you're going to need is a stick. If you don't have a stick, you come and talk to us. We'll get you a stick. So if you're out there right now and you're saying, I can't afford a stick, come to us. We'll get you one. Our main thing is that you are included, your child is included, and that they have fun. And that's it. That's our whole platform. So,
Thank you.
so I appreciate you having us here. If any of you have any questions here, or if any of you have any questions at home, please, again, go on our Facebook page, I Am Me. Reach out to us. I know our information is going to be up there, but if you guys have any questions now, I'm more than happy.
Anybody have anything?
Rockland kids with special needs are more than welcome to play. Besides that, it's for anybody on the South Shore that wants to play. As far as the existing league that we've had, that's more been for kids who live in Weymouth or who attend Weymouth schools or what have you. So, but yes, the Champions Division is open to anybody. So, well, right now our current league is set up from kindergarten to 10th grade. I understand, and your son is older than he is more. We'd love to have him. We'd love to have him. This is not about age. It's more about them out there having fun, and that's all it's about. Yeah. So if he wants to come and join, and if it's up to 25, they want to come and join, that's great. As long as they're out there running around. It is an outdoor facility that we have, so sometimes we do get rained out like baseball, but there's nothing we can do about it. But as long as the weather gods are good to us, hopefully the kids will have fun.
Great.
All right. So.
Thank you, Mark.
Well, thank you for having me.
Really
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
you coming out and telling us about it. Thank you. Okay, next we have Sylvia from the Friendship Home. She is the director of the Bridges to Work program.
Hello. So I'm Amelia Sylvia. I'm coming from and representing Friendship Home Inc. It's a small organization in Norwell. And typically we're serving adults with disabilities. However, we have a program, Social Recreation, that also has been kind of touching upon. We have the new middle school club and young adult club. And, as the interest is growing, we're kind of trying to navigate that for families. We understand that it's challenging to find activities such as what the Social Rec offers for teenagers and such, besides just what they do in school. But Friendship Home we operate 3 main programs, which is the Bridges to Work program, which we support the individuals with seeking jobs and gaining individualized employment, paid employment in the community, as well as life skill building. Then our respite program, which it operates Friday to Sunday. It's different than a residential model. It is what they call a home away from home. It really honestly is 2 condos that are very lovely. And they come and they book a stay. It's kind of like a hotel for them, and they can stay with their friends. They can meet new friends if they don't know who's staying, and they have their own room, and staff are on shift to support them, getting them out in the community, and they go out to dinner. They might go out to the movies. And then they also join some of the social recreation program, different events that they'll be doing. The Social Rec program operates kind of throughout evenings and weekends. They have different clubs that operate regularly, so they meet twice a month. So someone might be a part of what's called the Tuesday Club. And every other Tuesday, they know that they're going to go see their team over there, and they'll do activities such as cooking activities together, sitting down, having dinners together. So it's a way for them to socialize, get out of the house, and see their friends. And they also operate theme parties, which are pretty much they're nice, fun dances for them. and a lot of outings. They'll go see shows, and they'll go to museums, all that stuff. And Gina Froyo, she's the director of the social rec department, is wonderful. She also is the one who has been expanding it quite a bit and has been working. She created the young adult. We also then have the movers and shakers, which is the for the older bunch, and they do a lot. So it's kind of nice because we understand that at different age ranges, they have different interests, different energy levels, and all that. So we're trying to reach a variety of different, needs and interests. And I think that touches upon just about everything in a nutshell, if anyone has any questions.
So I just have a question for you. When someone would like to have their child come, whether it be for middle school club or the high school club or respite, is there a timeline when they should call you guys and see, like, is it only in September, or is it all the way through the year?
No, it is all the way through the year, and it for each program is obviously a little bit different in regards to so kind of with social recreation and respite, it's just kind of a rolling. You just call anytime. I think really with respite, I think the youngest is 18, so I think there's a little bit of an age thing there. And then social rec, obviously, you can get involved a lot younger. So reach out and touch base. I believe probably even as young as 15, 16. And then with Bridges to Work is a little bit different. Bridges to Work is designed for it's technically 22 plus,
Right.
But we do have individuals that were they were able to pass the MCAS and graduate at 18 and still so they'll come into Bridges to Work even younger. That's where you're going to be having support with the Department of Developmental Services anyway, and they would support you in reaching out to us. But any family can at any point in time ever ask, even if you're 2 years out from graduation, it's good to get a jump on it anyway. But with the other programs, anytime reach out.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Does anyone have any questions? Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And next we have Julie Hoffman Hogan with Special Olympics, and I'm going to move this.
Just what I need, just to be louder. Our program is called the Alltown Tigers. I have been the coach for the Alltown Tigers. Linda Farrell also coaches with the Alltown Tigers. Colleen also coaches with the Alltown Tigers, and her swim program is phenomenal from everything I've heard. Unfortunately, they run simultaneously with track and field, so I don't get to see a lot of that. But the programs for the Alltown Tigers are, we have a lot. We do track and field, we do basketball, we do flag football, and we're investigating volleyball for the summer. we're going to try maybe to do volleyball. I'm not sure about that one. But we start the programs. I have been coaching since Derek was 8 years old, and he is 27 now. So it's I've been coaching for 19 years, doing the basketball, and we started flag football, I think, 11 years ago, something like that. So we're just always adding. We're trying to always add sports so that they can always stay involved and have something year-round. One of the things that was really hard for me when Derek was young, when he was 8, was trying to find things like everybody's offering now, which is phenomenal, and it's such a great thing to see. It really makes me happy that people are offering more and more. We are called Alltown because we're not just Rockland. We are Rockland, but we also have participants from Abington, Whitman, Hanson, Weymouth, Randolph. We have somebody from Foxborough who is in our football program. And legitimately, it is all towns that are available or want to make the trip to Rockland to practice and to get involved. You can be involved in Special Olympics from the age of 5 to 7. I think there's 5 to however old you want to be. Competition-wise, you're not allowed to compete competitively until you are 8 years old. So you can't participate in the state games and everything else, but you can still come and practice and still get to know other people and meet new friends, which is part of what it's about. It's a large part of what it's about. Most of our guys can tend to get a little isolated, so it's important that they get involved. And the more they know, the more people they know, the more active they are, the more they're going to be doing in the community. And really, that's what Special Olympics is about. It's about inclusion. It's about trying to get kids to work together. We have our football program is a unified sports program, which means that we have regular kids that participate with our special people, typical people. Whatever, they're regular.
We're special.
We're special. They're not quite as special as our special guys, but we have, it's a great program because it's fun. For my son in particular, he likes to go out and compete. He's never gotten to be on a sports team with his brothers or his sister or his regular friends, and there's only a year difference between them. So when they get to go out there and be on the same team, it's pretty special. It's pretty exciting. They have just a blast. So we are always looking for additional partners. The athletes love to have people that participate with them. Our basketball team, which is starting on the 26th, Tuesday the 26th. We are going to be starting at Eston School from 6:30 to 7:30. And it is, that is a traditional team. So that team is just athletes. And we have multiple age groups. So we have younger kids. I'm hoping to be able to do more than one team. Because that's always my goal. Let's have one younger team and one older team. The younger team would be 8 to 15, and then the older team would be 15 plus. We do have athletes that are as old as 31 that participated in flag football. So, and as young as 9, 10. Paul's, well, actually, Paul's 12. But anyway, we have younger kids as well. So we're trying to get a much different age group going on. So, any other questions? No? Okay.
Next is Colleen Leonard, and she is with Special Olympics, and she does Special Olympics swimming.
Hi, everyone. My name is Colleen Leonard. I am the swim coach for South Shore Arc. We are the Sharks. And I have been volunteering with Special Olympics for over 25 years. And, wow, I think more than that, but I'm not going to admit that.
You're only 21.
I
How could that
am.
be?
It's just not possible. And then I started volunteering with the swim program, and the swim program is newly going to be out of the new Weymouth MDC this year. Brand new facility, beautiful pool. And that starts in February, and we have always had for many years older adults, ranging from 18 up to, we have, I think our old's 55 swimmers. And 4 years ago, I started an 8 to 15-year-old group, primarily because I saw all these kids not being able to do sports. And Julie, I was a part of her group, and there were so many littles, and but they do have an adaptive swim program, so these kids can wear swim jackets or have the boards and be able to participate at Harvard University in June, which is pretty exciting. We do have 3 athletes this year. 2 of the parents are here who will be moving up to the older kids to compete this year. They and they started out with a life jacket, and now they will be swimming at Olympic-sized pools and competing, and it's really exciting. And it's absolutely, like Julie said,
Yeah.
Julie, we get more joy than these kids do because the look on their faces is just beyond. And we are always looking for volunteers, so those community hours or just because of the love that you receive, come on down. You can jump in the pool and swim with my guys, as I love to call them, even though there's a lot of girls. So that's about it. And it's, like I said, it starts in February. It does coincide with track and field. We do have some that alternate because they wanted to do both. So they decided one year they'll do track, and the next year they'll do swim.
And the other thing that's important to remember is just because you're not going to participate in the state games doesn't mean that you can't participate in practice and play with each other. You can go and swim all you want, and you can come and run with us and practice with us, and then you can compete in the sport of your choice, which is what is awesome.
And that goes for swimming as well. So just so everyone knows, if you're afraid, there's many parents that are afraid. That's what I've found. We had a little boy whose mom cried because she had never seen her son in the pool, and he swam, and he was elated as we all were crying. But we have siblings come, and that's an activity that is great for the siblings to be able to be and watch and support, but they don't have to compete. And we do take them younger. So they compete at 8 years old in Special Olympics. If we had our way, we would start them at 3, but they don't. So when we hit that mega bucks, we'll do that.
We can do that together.
Thank you, Michelle.
Any questions? So real quick, I just wanted to talk about Special Olympics just for one quick moment, is that Special Olympics is always free. It is open to any child with a disability. Also, Special Olympics, for me personally, my daughter has cerebral palsy. We were in a little bit of a denial, nobody knows what that is, when she was little, and I had an OT from Rockland Public Schools say to me, Special Olympics will change your life. And it did. When she was 8, I met Julie, and the rest is history. Mary does every sport that she can possibly do, and when she is doing that sport, she is like every other kid. She is the track star. She is the football star. She's the high school quarterback. It doesn't matter. When they're Special Olympics, they're on a team, and they're playing like any other kid out there. Just like with Amy's dance class. It's a way to get them out there. It's a way for them to meet other kids with and without disabilities. They make friends. My child now has friends that she never would have had. Sometimes our kids don't have any friends. Kids are afraid to be with them or talk to them. Special Olympics, dance class, hockey, friendship home. They're finding other individuals that are more like them. And as a parent, you find more parents that are more like us. And we need a village. This is our village. I feel like all of us, everybody on this panel who's going to speak, will attest to that. We're all here because we either have a child or have somebody in our lives, or this is our calling, that be sure that you look at this panel and you watch it, but think really hard, even if you're in denial. This is something that may change your child's life. Anybody on this panel will be able to tell you that. I can attest for St. Mary's down the end when they speak about how they changed my outlook on the Catholic Church. I won't go into it right now. They will be able to tell you. But because of the family that we now have, our village, and that includes your school system, it's just an eye-opening experience. So please, I beg of you, if you feel that it's too much or your child's not ready, just reach out to me. Reach out to anybody on this panel, and they will tell you it's going to be the best decision you make. So that's my rant. We're going to move on. Sorry. Yes.
Sorry. So parents, when they bring kids into new situations, especially us as parents, having a son with special needs, he has Downs, it's scary and it is very intimidating, and you're like, there's no way my kid is going to sit there. There's no way he's going to do or participate in anything. There were 2 years when we had a child on our sports teams who only came and he threw the ball in when it went out of bounds. That was his goal. That was his role on the team. And there's something that everybody can do. There's never a time when somebody has to sit on the sidelines and not participate. We expect everybody who comes to participate, and we want them to participate, and we'll find a way for them to do that, regardless of what it is. If they're on the court the whole time, if they're not on the court, if whatever they're doing.
Or they're playing with toys in the pool.
Exactly. As long as they're part and participating, they're part of the group. Sorry, thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Nicole Craven and Julie Quill. They are from Sing, Explore, Create right in Rockland. And here we go.
Thank you. So we are the co-owners of Sing, Explore, Create. It's a music therapy private practice and art studio. We provide not only music therapy services, but recreational music and art services, as well as rec therapy. I'm the director of music and music therapy, and Julie is the director of art and rec therapy. So I'll speak a little bit about the music therapy services and then hand the mic over to Julie. We provide, our studio is right in Rockland and 28 Webster Street across from the post office. We have a lot of services that happen in our studio. When we started this, we pictured it being this wonderful arts community space where everyone came to us. And then it turned out everyone wanted us to come to them, which has been the best thing. We love being out in the community. We have contracts with public schools, private schools. We go into day hab programs. Outside of the special needs arena, we're also in assisted living homes. We work with hospitals. We're kind of all over the community, and we love doing it. The biggest thing to know is that we don't have any one cookie cutter program. So if you're out there and you're hearing a little bit about the services we provide and you think maybe that would fit for us, please give us a call. We always form groups by need. So if you're thinking, hey, my son is really into art, and I want to get him involved in that, but not sure how to do it, just give us a call. And if we think it's appropriate to have him in an individual session or in a group, we'll try to find other families who can start a group with them. So we really want you to reach out to us. And tell us what you're looking for. Tell us about your child. As I mentioned, we have clinical music therapy services. Music therapy is the use of music essentially to address non-musical goals. So we work with a lot of students in speech and communication. We can work on gross and fine motor skills. We work on social and emotional skills. We work with individuals as well as groups, as I mentioned. For some of the school systems we're in, we're working on IEP goals. Other places that we go into, it's more recreational. But please reach out to us. We also have, we have adapted lessons as well. So if your child really just wants to learn an instrument, and you're not sure how to go about doing that, please give us a call. We get to know the student. We meet them where they're at. We adjust our teaching style to meet the student. We will physically adapt an instrument if needed. We have a student who comes to us right now that just doesn't really have the fine motor skills for guitar, but we do what's called an open string tuning. So they don't have to maneuver the strings at the top. They can just strum. And we have a number of songs that we can sing and play with them, and it's wonderful. So I encourage you to reach out, find out more about our programs. Our website is singexplorecreate.com. It'll have more information there. And if you work for an organization and want to bring us to you, please reach out as well. And you just kind of email us, and we get to know what your organization is, what your needs might be, and we fit a program to your program's needs. So, yeah.
I don't know what else there's left to say. No, I'm like,
What is rec therapy?
yes.
Big
So
question.
rec therapy is kind of starting that you're meeting the person where they are, and through leisure and leisure education, you're helping them to meet their goals. They could be goals that deal with recreation or sports or the arts. They could also be, as Nicole talked about, they could also be fine motor skills, gross motor skills. Getting back, I've had a couple of adults where they're looking to kind of just get into the community, get back into the community if they were not, if they were, health-wise not able to be in the community. We do, a lot of it will be about leisure education. In the schools, it could be bridging the teacher to the students. If there is adaptive phys ed, adaptive art classes, any type of thing like that would help to kind of bridge that gap that needed to be. That's where kind of rec therapy would come into play. And we kind of do all of that. I am a certified rec therapist, and I also do Drums Alive. So we kind of come in with all the drums and the fitness, which is more like a fitness program. So it kind of gets everybody up moving, which is a good. And as Nicole said, I also do the art. I am a painter and weaver by trade and have an art degree, and so I do all the art classes, multimedia classes, painting classes, all of that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I do on my side. But I agree with Nicole. Reach out to us. We will help you to kind of get where you want to be, or your child get where you want to be.
Is there an age where you start taking children? Is there a specific age?
For the art side, probably I think I have as young as, outside of the studio, I have as young as 2 years old in some of my learning centers. In the studio, between like 5 and 6, when they're starting to get into it, they want the drawing classes or they want the painting classes, things like that.
And for the music therapy end of things, we actually start in utero because we do provide prenatal services as well. But for our special needs kiddos, it can be as early as infants all the way up. Yep, through end of life care. So. Yep. Yeah. I should have also mentioned that one of our favorite, two of our favorite activities, or one of the reasons we got to know Michelle, is because every year we provide the music, entertainment, and we run a really fun group for the Rockland Sepac's Halloween party, which we love doing. It's become a fun tradition for us. And we also have an end of the year showcase that we bring all of our students together, and that's really beautiful because we do have students who come to us for, typically developing students who are there for, a typical piano lesson, and so they come and play. It's their recital, and then we also have our, our adult day hab students who come and lead an audience sing-along. We have artwork around everywhere from all of our participants throughout the community, and it's just a really fun night, and it has grown and grown and grown every year. And it's open to all, and it's a really fun night and a great way to celebrate the work of our students throughout the year. So, yeah.
Any questions? And I'm just going to ask Julie, also, I know your husband couldn't be here tonight, but he is the coach of the Boston Bear Cubs, which is a special needs ice hockey, I will say specifically, ice hockey team that meets at the Ice House. The Canton Ice House on Saturday mornings, but Julie's going to talk a little bit about that.
So that started about 14 years ago when my son, who's on the spectrum, had left the Learn to Skate program. So the next step was, where does he go from here? And somebody brought up the special hockey, international special hockey, to my husband, and he started one in Boston. So we were in Quincy for a while. We have parents that come from everywhere, Andover, Burlington. And when we started, we were in Pembroke, and they would come down for 7 o'clock in the morning. They would be there with their son or daughter, whoever it was, to get them to play. Because like we all have said, this is what it's all about, is getting these guys to be out there and exercising and inclusive. So this program runs from 6 years of age. They will teach you to skate first, and then on to play hockey. We have done tournaments. We have gone to tournaments as far, they're everywhere. They're Canada, you could go to England if you want to. We actually ran one about 5 years ago out of Marlborough, and we had 64 teams from all across the country and Canada and England also came in. So it's been a great process. So like I said, they start at 6 years old, but up to whatever age. I think our oldest now guy is about 30. And once they learn to skate, they jump right into the hockey skills. They go from the hockey skills to competing with each other. We have had all different high schools and colleges come out. Curry College just was there last week. We have had, I don't know, there's all of them all around. Most of the local high schools have come out to play a game with us. And volunteers have been phenomenal, and they are from the high school level all the way up to coaching levels. And we've got people who might have a child that has a disability or not, and just think it's really cool to be out here and coaching. And they've taken the certifications to come out and coach with John. And it's pretty cool because it's very team oriented. These guys belong to a team. They have the paraphernalia that they belong to a team. They have, what can we do on a Saturday to get, afterwards they might go to lunch, whatever. It's really been pretty rewarding to watch these guys grow up. And we have about 30 players right now. So some have left, some have come back, some, kind of all of that, so.
And how, if someone wanted to join, how would they do that?
They can contact, the website is massspecialhockey.org. John Quill at Mass Special Hockey is, it's actually Jay Quill, sorry. His name is John. Either one is the way you would get in touch with them. All of the information would be on the website, and then you contact John.
Thank you. And our next speaker is from Autism Sprinter, Jahara Lopez. So if you can just move that down.
Sprinter, which was established in 2014. I'm a mommy of two amazing little guys. One of them has autism and ADHD, and the other one has ADHD. So our house is fun times all the time, okay? And so I started Autism Sprinter in 2014 when I departed from working from Boston Public Schools because I felt like my son, who started public school at the age of 3, because he was given an IEP, the other one didn't qualify for an IEP. And so I found that working full time, mind you, I'm working for Boston Public Schools. My son is in Boston Public Schools, so working all day, I'm with other people's kids, and then coming home to dealing with my own kids, and I literally was checked out. Like, I'm like, oh, this is just too much. And so I noticed that my role as a mom, I wasn't dedicating enough time to support my child to develop. And so in 2014, I decided to depart from the school district to focus more on my son. I turned one of my bedrooms into a full-blown classroom. I literally binge watch YouTube videos on ABA, OT, speech, literally, and learn how to do all that stuff on my own. And so what I started doing was I started recording our videos, and I started putting them on Facebook. And one of my friends was like, oh, you need to do something with this. You need to do blogging. And I'm like, blogging? Who has time for that? I'm a mommy of 2. I can't do that. And so he kept constantly commenting on my posts on Facebook. He's like, no, Jahida, I need you to do something with this. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? He goes, I think other parents need to see this, because you literally learned how to do your own therapies at home, and you're recording your son and you're putting it out there. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I went on Google Blogger and I started a free blog. It didn't really go anywhere because I wasn't dedicating any time to it. And then one of my college friends calls me and he goes, nope, I'm going to buy you a website. I'm going to need you to teach other parents how to do this because this is awesome. And I was like, all right, well, if you're going to pay for the domain and you're going to build a website, you got it. So he actually did. One of my college friends bought me the domain after me and my family came up with the name Autism Sprinter. And Autism Sprinter started with my son was not a bolter, but he was always wandering. So if I kind of turn, he'll be over there and a stranger could have took him. So I felt like I was sprinting against time all the time, that I felt like I had a short time to get resources, to get on waiting lists, to call all these people. So we kind of came up with you have a short time to get access to a lot of these things. And so that's where Autism Sprinter was birthed. And, a lot of the work that we do is building parents and empowering parents to understand that they're the most powerful person in any space. Because I don't know if you guys, but going to an IPE meeting to me feels like a mob sit down. It literally feels like, are we going to have a good conversation or we're not? And so that's how it feels. And so Autism Sprinter is really dedicated into ensuring that parents know their policies, their procedures, especially the special education laws, and how to become self-advocates. And I think that it's important for parents to understand that they don't need to have all the acronyms behind their last names to be identified as an expert. I really firmly believe that parents are experts, and they are it's equally important to bringing content to the table, to develop initiatives, and to build a really strong, healthy relationship with districts to make sure that when the schools are moving forward with programming, that they have parents who are able to be part of the process. Because it often feels like we're always left out of the conversation, then that doesn't kind of create a welcoming, school culture. And so, I do a lot of my work once a month at the Turner Free Library in Randolph. We just had a workshop last week with Sepac, which was amazing. And we've collaborated with Family Ties, with the Federation of Children with Special Needs, with the DDS, and other than that, I have like 3 big events that we do a year, which is our Autism Superhero Celebration that we do in Boston, that we on Autism Awareness Month, we try to celebrate kids with autism as superheroes. I believe that they bring a lot of unique abilities to our communities, and we want to honor them as the real superheroes in our communities. We also do a hike for autism, and then also we do our yearly Christmas party that we're going to do for the 2nd time this year in collaboration with Drive Boston. This is also going to happen in Boston. And I particularly like to work with families who are, in a certain demographics, families who may not have access, families who are immigrants, who English might not be their first language, because I feel like as a Latina woman, I also feel like when I was kind of navigating special needs, I don't think my family really understood that. I come from a old school Puerto Rican family, and talking about disabilities and mental health was not a table talk conversation in my household. It was kind of taboo. So I think I was the first person in my family to be like, listen, Jesus cannot fit this, okay? They cannot fix this today. I need to talk about this, and this is where I need my family's help. So, that's a lot of the work that we do. I call myself a natural born disruptor. I have a lot of questions all the time, and I'm always at school committee meetings like, excuse me, how do these dollars get spent? But that's just me. And I like to make sure that those questions that I ask is not to disrupt the conversation, is to make sure that parents really understand systems. Because I think that it's really, really hard to decipher content. And I think a lot of parents don't know the chain of command. They don't know who to go to for what. And then next you're angry. And then when you really talk to them, they're just upset because they're not able to communicate their concerns the right way. And it's not like an IEP meeting really sits down where people are really actually telling you the resources that you can access. And so, we do a lot of work around that too, to kind of make sure that we bridge the gap between parents and resources in the district. and having healthy conversations, even if they're not healthy, is how do we kind of work together as a village to create that positive, school climate, school culture where parents are seen as the partners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wouldn't work there. Next, we have Lane Doherty from the Thinking and Doing Center, and she is the founder and creator in Hingham, Massachusetts.
Yes, I am. And I am an ADHD coach and an executive function coach. I work with children who, from second grade up through high school, and I also work with adults. So change is hard, and school is hard for a lot of our kids, especially those with attention issues or executive function challenges. And asking them to change can be frustrating and overwhelming for them. So I offer coaching programs, whether I see the student individually or in a small group with their age level peers. Coaching is different from tutoring because tutoring is about the content. Coaching is about pretty much putting the student, the child, in charge, because oftentimes students don't have much say as to how they do things. We're always trying to provide the answers for them, but I notice that when we allow them to make those decisions and to try certain things, kind of as an experiment, they are much more motivated and they become good problem solvers. So that's the way my program is designed. The student takes the lead. We go deep into discussing how maybe their ADHD is showing up in their life, how it's affecting them at school, and let them brainstorm ideas, solutions, strategies for ways that they could solve it. And then we design a plan. I like to call it an experiment because experiments don't fail. There's no failure. It just provides more data for the next try. So we design the experiment. They are accountable to me. We work out how they're going to be accountable to me. And then if the experiment needs a little tweaking, well, we tweak it. But I've seen kids that used to struggle with homework or time management, couldn't get out of the house on time. That's often a challenge. I do see kids with special needs. And I do see adults as well. I run a parent class for helping parents understand ADHD because there's a lot that we can do to really help keep the climate calm and less stressful at home, because ADHD often looks like it's intentional, but it's not. I mean, that working memory can only hold on to so much information, and then, walk into the room. I've even done it. Walk into the room, you forget why you're there. You're doing your math, you forget how to do math facts, or you forget how to add one or the other. And it can be a real challenge. And so together we develop strategies that actually help them. So I've been doing this now for, I think, I went through coach training back in, 2010, I believe. So I've been doing this for about 8 years, the coaching. I was a professional organizer before that. And that whole time I was an educator as well. So my own kids were diagnosed with ADHD, and that pretty much got me on the path to where I am now. So I'm in Hingham. The information's on the bottom of the screen. Reach out. I'm happy to answer all your questions because helping kids succeed in school is really my passion.
You don't only specialize with ADHD, do you?
No, all kinds of coaching. Yes, it's like a life coach with a specialty in attention.
Thank you, Lane.
Okay.
We have quite a gem in Lane. She does a lot of great work over there. Next, we have Susan Habsky.
Habshy, yeah.
sorry.
We get all different
From
hibachi.
Hibachi
My husband's fault.
from Alternatives ABA, and she is the founder and executive director.
That is true. And I am also the mother of a 10-year-old son with severe autism. He is nonverbal, and Alternatives ABA was created out of my hope to find something better for him at the time. He was about 23 months when he was diagnosed. We went through early intervention, and then I went through 5 ABA providers before I said, that's enough. I'm going to try and build something the way I think it should be built. I founded Alternatives ABA in 2015, October, from my kitchen. Hired a couple people and got things going. We are now 10,000 square feet in Norwell at Accord Park. We have now, I think, close to 90 employees. And between applied behavior analysis, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and expressive therapies, we provide services to 240 plus children. Our primary focus, I keep saying a lot, and I always say I'm not going to do that, but it happens, so I apologize. We provide, as a primary focus, one-to-one intensive ABA services to children, but also provide speech therapy services, occupational therapy services, and expressive therapies. The one-to-one intensive ABA is provided in the center, in the home, and in the community. For those that aren't familiar with one-to-one ABA, that is when you have a board-certified behavior analyst oversee a program that is then mainly implemented by a registered behavior technician or a behavior therapist. I guess that's it. Do you have questions? A lot of people have a lot of questions about how to get started,
Right.
what needs to happen.
So I guess that they can contact you from her information on the bottom of the screen, and that now I'm doing that you with ABA. Do they get a diagnosis first and then see you, or do they
Yes.
see you and then get a diagnosis? That's
Yes.
the main
So
question usually.
the biggest question that we get is, do you provide ABA services to everyone? My child has behavior disturbances or maladaptive behaviors. Can you help? In Massachusetts, insurance covers ABA for children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. So unfortunately, it's really difficult to get insurance to pay for the services without that. So to get services going, you need to have insurance, and you need to have that letter from a PhD or higher that says the diagnosis is autism spectrum disorder, and then we can get going.
So just to be clear for parents and for caregivers, your typical pediatrician would not qualify to give your child the diagnosis of autism.
It's possible, but generally it's a developmental pediatrician, a neuropsychologist, someone in that regard. But in Massachusetts, it has to be someone with a PhD, PSYD, or an MD that makes that diagnosis.
Okay, perfect.
There are several types of insurance. It would take me forever to explain it all. There are some insurances that are what we call self-funded. Those are a little bit more tricky. That means that the organization is large enough where they fund their own insurance plan. Those insurance plans can be a little bit more difficult to get ABA covered. The vast majority of the plans across Massachusetts that we see, though, are not self-funded plans and do cover ABA. Even more parents apply for Mass Health to pick up copays if it's not their primary insurance, and that is an option. There is the Autism Insurance Resource Center for people that don't know, and you can find that just by Google, Autism Insurance Resource Center. Amy Weinstock and Terry Farrell run that organization. Amy Weinstock, if you wonder who passed this law, that is who passed the law, and she's pretty amazing. She's also a mom. Terry Farrell is also takes part in that. She's also a mom as well, and they have been extraordinary with helping parents break down barriers with insurance because ABA is extremely expensive. The services for board-certified behavior analysts are extraordinarily high, and services are generally intense. So kids are getting anywhere between 10 to 40 hours a week of one-to-one intensive ABA, and most normal people cannot afford to pay out of pocket for that.
No, definitely not. So another resource for all sorts of questions regarding anything from school to ABA would be the Federation.
Correct, yep.
So it's the Federation for Special Needs, and I will get that number for you all. And but they're also, if you're looking for some advice on which way to go about things, that's also a good resource. So that's that. Any questions?
As you mentioned, the information should be on the bottom of the screen. I am so happy. We founded the organization as a not-for-profit, with good cause and good reason. If parents need advice, if they need help, they should always feel free to reach out to us, whether you want services from us or not. If you have services from another provider and you have questions about how it's going, how is BCBA supervision supposed to work, how many hours, should they be supervising for direct? This, for people that aren't familiar with ABA, it sounds like a different language, but for people that are familiar, it'll make a lot of sense. Please call and ask. Services provided in the center happen during school hours and after school, but most of the clients that we serve, most of the families that we serve, receive ABA after school.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Sure. Thanks for having me. This is amazing, by the way, because there's a huge barrier for parents to get to things like this, because childcare is an issue, and by the time you get home, you're exhausted.
Yes.
And I can vouch for that firsthand. So this is extraordinary, because I hope there's a lot of parents at home that are able to access this that wouldn't be able to physically be here in person. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next presenters are Karen Gill and Maura Dowling, and they are from St. Mary's Church in Hanover. And my 2-second blurb about these wonderful ladies that I cannot say enough about. I can't say enough about everybody on this panel, honestly. But I had an experience at a church that we won't name a name, and they decided that because my daughter could not understand what was going on and that she was too far behind, they would turn her around and sit her at the back of the class facing the wall, like in the 1950s, except for the dunce hat. This was unacceptable, and I found out from other children. The children would come out of CCD and tell me, Mrs. Kippenhan, this is what happened. Then I witnessed it, and of course, we can all gather what happened from there. I was told about St. Mary's program and couldn't believe it when I got there and talked to these wonderful ladies, and they did everything from let her stand up on the altar when church was not in session and touching things to teaching her, to letting her help. I just think that I know that everyone up here and that has spoken has been about therapies or activities, and I know that some of us don't like to touch religion, but I think it is needed, and we have to talk about that. For a lot of us, religion is a part of our lives, and that there are programs and there are churches that are out there, and they're willing to take that extra step. So with no further ado, I will pass it along to Karen and Maura.
Yes. Okay. So thank you very much, Michelle, for that nice intro. What we're going to start with first is Maura's just going to read a quick blurb that we do have in the church in all the pews about all are welcome. So it kind of summarizes what we do.
Because of what you just said, we had a lot of people come to us and say our children aren't welcome in our programs or whatever. So we're part of a collaborative, Holy Mothers, and we're Norwell in Hanover. And in all of our church pews in Spanish and in English, this is what you find when you come in. It says, all are welcome, and how to be a church of open doors. Each of us can make our parish a more welcoming place to newcomers, persons with disabilities, and persons with special needs. And here are a few ideas. If you see a parent struggling with a child's behavior, offer a friendly smile, a sympathetic nod, or a helping hand. If you see a person physically struggling to get in, hold open the door, scoot down in the pew, or offer to carry something. If you see a person exhibiting unusual behavior, understand that it might be a sign of a disability. Embrace the person as a child of God and understand that each of us has different ways of receiving and communicating God's love. If you see someone who is disheveled or out of sorts, consider that they might be in dire straits. Act with compassion. Some people may struggle to get to or sit through the Mass. Offer a ride, an open door, or simply acceptance and understanding. And a warm smile, a nod, or a small kindness can make all the difference. Amen, I say to you, whatever you did for one of the least of my brothers, you did for me.
So in a nutshell, that is our program. We have been working together for about 14 years, so we are lucky. And ironically, like most of us here, the idea was sparked when my youngest son was born with special needs. And I said, what are we going to do? I want him to be able to receive the sacraments. And how are we going to go about doing it? We are fortunate enough that we do have a great pastor, Father Chris, that supports us in everything that we do. And he also had a nephew that had Down syndrome and hadn't received. And he's like, can I have him come from Walpole and be part of your program? So initially we started it out where we had a program where it was just almost segregated in a sense that they met us on Sundays and this is how we've done it. And since we have evolved over the years, and like everybody else here has said, we meet the child where they need to be met. So if that child can't sit in a typical classroom, or maybe they can sit in the typical classroom for 5 minutes, that's all they do. And we sit with them, we work with the parents, we try to just have it as a group. We're all in this together. So whatever it's going to take for us to have your child, son or daughter, receive the sacraments, that's what we're here for. If we can't be welcoming in church, then we really have a problem. So we truly feel as though this year, and especially, we have children that are in Cardinal Cushing that we do meet in our EDGE program. So sometimes they just need that extra hand and that extra support. And it can't be the mom or dad. That's just so Mara or myself will go and we just sit in the program and just assist that child, just so they too can feel part of it. So if there's anyone out there that is interested in receiving any of the sacraments or even just being part of it, we are more than welcome to work with you in whatever capacity that we can and just help you receive, because like Michelle said, it is important to us. And it's important to everyone. And as a parent of a child with special needs, I want him to be able to receive all those sacraments, but he can't do it in the typical way. So we just work out of the box. So thank you very much for having us.
Time to come and talk about your programs, your passion, your children, your friends' children. It's really important that our parents know what's out there, and there's more than this. So if you are still looking for something and it's not here on this panel, contact me. Contact the Sepac. Contact Marcy Little Conley, who is also, she is my co-chair on the Sepac, and we will find it for you. Or we will attempt to find it for you the best we can. And if it's a sporting event, I'm sure that one of these lovely people will create it. If you're having trouble in school, contact your teacher, contact your special ed person, contact Linda Maniglia. If you need to contact the Sepac, we will do what we can to help you. Dr. Alan Cron, of course, as our superintendent, is more than willing to listen to whatever problems that are out there that you may need help with. And anything else that you may need, please feel free to contact anyone that's been on the panel tonight. Their information is, again, on the bottom of the screen. And I just want to say thank you all. We really appreciate all your hard work that all of you do from the bottom of our hearts. We couldn't live in our community, in our families, and in our village without everybody's help. So thank you.